On today's show, we explore how seeing the places we live through fresh eyes can reveal the hidden magic we've stopped noticing, and how looking at your life from the outside, like someone watching a film, can change the way you see your work, your relationships, and your own story. So grab your popcorn, get comfy, and take a fresh look around, because it's time to Movify your life and start seeing the world like the set of your own movie. Welcome to the Movify Your Life show, the plot twist you've been waiting for. I'm your host, Jessica Grace Coleman, and through the Movify Your Life method, I'll show you how to step into the starring role of your story and create a life worth watching. Every Movify Monday, you'll learn how to turn everyday moments into unforgettable memories, activate your main character energy, and use cinematic tools to boldly chase your biggest dreams, like the movie star you truly are. Because when the credits roll, I want you to look back at your life like it's the greatest film ever made, full of meaning, magic, and most importantly, zero regrets. And because I truly believe everyone deserves to live an epic life fit for the big screen. So grab your popcorn, cue the music, and together, let's Movify your life. Hello, and welcome to the Movify Your Life show with me, Jessica Grace Coleman. I'm your host. I'm also founder and chief Movifier of Movify Your Life, the cinematic personal development brand that helps you step into your main character era. And before we get into today's podcast episode topic, I just wanted to do a brief update to my episode, which was number 187, How I Turned January into a Positive Plot Twist instead of a post-Christmas slump, because I mentioned then that the things I sort of made myself do in January, I knew they were going to have more ripple effects on the rest of the year. And at the time of recording, it's mid-March, and I've already seen more ripple effects. So I just wanted to go through a few of them. Maybe I'll do updates throughout the year, just briefly before we get into the episode. So the coaching day retreat I went to, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you can go back and listen to episode 187. The coaching day retreat I went to, I am friends with a lot of the women I met there on social media. So it's been great following along with them and what they've been doing since the retreat. It's also very motivational and empowering, because on the day of the retreat, we came up with like action steps we were going to do. And one of the women wanted to become a life coach. A lot of people had told her she'd be great at it, which I agreed with. And I just saw on social media that she has either started or finished her certification, or I think she's in the middle of it. She's one done and another one working on. And it's just awesome to see people actually follow through with what they say they're going to do. And it has reminded me to go back and look at what I said I was going to do. A lot of the things I said I was going to do, I did do, because they were leaving the house and attending more events and things like that, which I've been doing. I also booked for the next coaching day retreat, which I believe is next month. No, it's this month. It's in a week. I've just remembered. So that was definitely a ripple effect. And I'm sure attending that one will have many more ripple effects, and I'll meet even more awesome people as well. So that's a big one. I also mentioned how on that day retreat, I got the idea to turn the old tumble down, is that a term? Kind of run down summer house in the garden, because it hadn't been used for years, or a year or so, into my Movify HQ. So I'm still working on that. I have been scuppered by the totally rubbish English weather, because I need to repaint it inside and out. And there just haven't been enough warm, sunny days for that to happen. But the weather is turning. We're coming into spring. So I am convinced I'm going to get it done soon. And that would be a huge ripple effect from that one day retreat I went to. The networking meetings, I've been to a few now. I've met lots of awesome people, and I made great friends with one of the people who I think I mentioned on the last episode talking about all this. So I said we were going to do a content creation day, which we did. We filmed loads for our social media, for reels and things like that, and we had really great fun doing it. We've been for lunches, tea and cake, talking about business and self-development, and we've started going to a weekly line dancing class. And I said in that episode I wanted to join an exercise class, but I hadn't got around to it yet. So I have now, with a friend. And I love country music. I love all things Western and country. And I did some line dancing when I was like a teenager. I think they me just do it at school during PE one time. And I think I did some with my mom as well when I was younger. And having since gotten into country music and all that good stuff, I wanted to do one, but I just hadn't got around to it. And it's one of those things where going solo to something is always a little scary. So when my new friend suggested it, I was like, yes, no hesitation, let's go. We've been a couple of times and it's a lot of fun, and it's really hard actually. So we'll see if we get any better at that. I'm still doing my accountability Zoom meetings with the two people I met in Arizona when I went to BBD Live. In fact, we just had our 5th meeting before I recorded this podcast episode. And I am still volunteering at the dog place, the local border collie rescue, which means more exercise in nature, more fresh air, and more time with dogs and cats, because they have 2 resident cats as well. So that's become a sort of weekly or every other weekly routine for me, which is awesome. So lots of good things coming from those promises I made to myself in January. And like I say, I will keep updating if there are any more ripple effects. Okay, so let's get on to today's episode. And I want to talk about something that made me look at the world in a completely different way, and that can help you look at the world and your own surroundings in a completely different way as well. So the idea for this podcast episode started with one post I saw on social media, on Facebook. There is an American influencer called Kalani Ghost Hunter. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. If I'm not, then I apologize. And I believe he started out ghost hunting as the name, but has since got more into like food reviews and travel. And he and his wife, Savannah, I believe, they're from the US and they keep visiting England. They love it. They've been sort of spreading the English love and showing Americans all their favorite places and favorite places to eat and drink. And they rent a place over here now. And time of filming, someone they met in the UK has traveled to where they live in Lebanon, Tennessee. Though I believe in the video he says that the locals say Lebanon or something like that. So they're showing an English guy around their hometown, basically, where they live now anyway. And in the recent video I saw, while they were there, they were sort of in the like town square. And Kalani asked the guy, I think he was called Gavin, but don't quote me on that, and asked him what he thought of the town, basically. And the guy from England said it looked like a movie set. And as an English person myself, I agree. It did. It looked like something out of Back to the Future, like a backlot. You know, like the buildings, they could have been fake prop buildings, like with false facades. It just looked like something out of a movie. Because he was seeing it with fresh eyes, like someone visiting for the first time. But Kalani, who lives there, said he had never thought of it like that because to him, it's just normal. It's home. It's everyday life. He sees it every day. It never occurred to him that someone else might come and think, wow, this is like something out of a movie. And that really got me thinking, because how often do we overlook the magic, and sometimes even the movie magic, of the places we live and work and spend time in, simply because we see them every day? It's like when you're a kid, everything is so amazing and wonderful and awe-inspiring, and you're just amazed by everything. And then you get used to life and you're like, you just forget, or you don't see it that way anymore. And I've actually just reread a book. I must have read this book 6 or 7, 8 times in my life. It's The Solitaire Mystery by Justine Garda. I don't know how you say his name. Sorry, and I'm a huge fan as well. The Solitaire Mystery, and I love that book. The main sort of message theme in that book is that we grow up and we stop seeing the magic in the world. We stop questioning why we're there, but we also stop seeing and recognizing just how wonderful this incredible planet is. And just all the same themes are popping up in that book. And this post, it was just, a fun little post, but it got me thinking. And yeah, we get so used to our surroundings that we don't actually see them anymore. Like they're just sort of background to us. And I've definitely had the experience that the English guy in the video had when traveling, because sometimes you visit somewhere and it feels like you've stepped onto a film set, but the people who live there probably would never say that about it because they're so used to it. So, for example, I live in a small village in the English countryside, and to me, it's just normal. It's where I live. But I've had friends visit in the past who said things like, maybe they live in a city or totally different place, totally different country even. I had my friend from Australia here once. They were all like, this is so quaint. Like, this is so cute. It looks like something out of a British cozy mystery or Midsummer Murders, hopefully with less murder. Obviously, when people say things like that, it gets you thinking about it from a different perspective. And when you think about it, people from other countries, as I say, they might find things that to me are normal, like village greens, quaint shops, post offices, village pubs, red telephone boxes, local fetes. They might find that incredibly charming and cinematic because it might feel like they've stepped onto the set of an English countryside drama. In the same way, someone from a small English village, I'm not sure where this guy's from, but somewhere in England might visit somewhere like Lebanon, Tennessee, and think it looks like a movie set as well. And I went to Tennessee the year before last and had a very similar reaction. I always do in America. In the States, so many of the towns look like something you would just see in a movie. So yeah, and I've had the same experience in other countries as well, like in Paris, other cities in Europe. Like when you're walking down the cobbled streets and there are the cute cafes with outdoor seating and everyone's just like hanging out. There are little bookshops tucked into corners. Like it can feel like something straight out of a romantic comedy, especially if you're in Paris and there's like the Eiffel Tower or the Sacré-Cœur in the background. Like doesn't get much more cinematic than that. And that's the idea I want to explore in this episode. So what if we started looking at the places we live and work with fresh eyes? What if we looked at our surroundings the way a tourist or a visitor or a viewer watching a movie might see them? Because when you do that, you often realize that your everyday environment might actually look like a movie set for a certain genre. And that means your life is full of movie magic style possibilities, even if you don't think it is. So let me go into a few more examples of places that feel like movie sets.
Okay, movie star, real talk. Are you tired of feeling like a background extra in your own life? Then it's time to step into the spotlight and activate your main character era. And I've got just the thing to help you do it. Grab my free Movie Star Alter Ego Starter Kit, your behind-the-scenes pass to creating the bold, brave, action-taking version of you who goes after their dreams like the star of a blockbuster. Inside, you'll discover how to design your alter ego, choose your transformational item, pick your theme song, and build the rituals and confidence cues you need to start living your life like the epic movie it was meant to be. So, if you're ready to rewrite your script, roll camera, and finally take the lead, head to movifyyourlife.com/free to download your free starter kit now. That's movifyyourlife.com/free. Your next scene starts today. And now, let's get back to the action.
So, as I've said, an English village green with a church, a pub, a row of cottages might feel like the setting of a cozy mystery series like Midsummer Murders or a British country drama. An American small town square maybe with a courthouse or a clock tower or, just normal American shops that we're not used to can feel like something out of a film like Back to the Future. Like a lot of people said that the square in Lebanon looked like the Hill Valley Square. And a small town in New England can feel like Stars Hollow in Gilmore Girls, which is something I explored in great depth in my Movify Your Life moviementary, my documentary with a twist, which is available to watch for free on YouTube right now. You can find the link to that in the show notes. But I went to New England, Vermont in particular, and I found a load of small towns that felt like Stars Hollow and Gilmore Girls. As I say, the streets of Paris with the cafes spilling out onto the pavements, tiny bookshops, can look like the perfect setting for a rom-com. A snowy alpine village in Switzerland might feel like the perfect backdrop to a Christmas film, especially if there are twinkling lights, wooden chalets, snow-covered mountains, hot chocolate stands. Now I want to go back to Switzerland. A beach town in California with like surfboards stacked outside cafes, palm trees lining the roads. It might feel like a sort of laid-back coming-of-age movie. A bustling street in Tokyo filled with huge neon signs and late-night ramen bars, karaoke places. I don't know, could feel like the setting for a futuristic sci-fi film. A dusty desert town in the American Southwest might look like the location for a Western, and you can actually visit proper Western towns. Love it. A quiet Italian village with like stone houses, laundry hanging between the balconies, an old piazza. That could also be like a romantic European drama. A cozy bookshop in Edinburgh or Oxford or somewhere like that might look like it belongs in a literary film about writers and dreamers. A dramatic coastal road in Ireland might feel like the opening scene of an epic adventure film. Or a rainforest path in Costa Rica could look like the start of a jungle expedition movie. A bustling street market in Morocco could feel like something out of Indiana Jones or James Bond or something like that. or maybe like a sleepy seaside town in England with those colourful beach huts and ice cream stands. Could be like the setting for a nostalgic summer story. The fascinating thing is that the people who live in these places, they may be aware of like some of these things, obviously, but they don't really see any of it anymore as something fascinating or magical, or that could be in a movie, because to them it's just like a regular Tuesday in their regular town. So it's really interesting to think about. And I wanted to give you an exercise to help you see your town or wherever you live through fresh eyes. So it's just very simple. Just take a moment and imagine that someone, say from the other side of the world or a completely different country to yours, has just arrived in your town or village or hamlet or whatever it is for the very first time. Put yourself in their shoes, channel them. What would they notice first? What would stand out to them that maybe barely registers for you anymore? So it could be the interesting architecture, the landscape, a particular street, cafe, park or building, the nature, the urban atmosphere. Maybe you have like an interesting landmark, the community. Maybe it's just the feel of the place, the ambience, the vibes. Like you can do this in your house, just sit and think about it, or you can actually go for a walk and look around as if you're visiting for the first time. You could even pretend you're like an alien visiting for the first time. What would they notice? What would stand out to them? And does anything feel like it could be out of a movie? And notice the details, like the colours of the buildings. Maybe you live somewhere where they have really colourful painted buildings like Notting Hill. And to you, it doesn't really register anymore, but just like see through fresh eyes and you're like, actually, yes, these pastel coloured houses are so pretty and like something out of a movie. Like listen to the sound of the birds or whatever else is making noise in the vicinity. Maybe it's the smell of a bakery or a coffee shop. And if you have an epic view from a hill or a, high vantage point, the way the light falls across the street in the evening, whether you're in the middle of nowhere in a dark sky area. Is that what they're called? Dark sky areas where you can see all the stars. Someone from a city might come and find that absolutely mesmerizing because they're not used to it. Maybe it's the opposite. You're from the middle of nowhere and you go to a bustling city and you feel like you've been thrown into a movie. Just ask yourself, if someone were filming a scene from a movie here, where would they do it? What would the focus be? Where would they place the camera? Where would the characters meet? What would the opening shot be? Like actually picture it as being a scene in a movie, and you'll start seeing your surroundings in a completely different light. And you might be surprised how cinematic your everyday environment actually is. And if you start doing this for every new place you visit as well, your life gets a whole lot more movified. So if you visit a new place, you go on holiday, you visit a friend, just really open your eyes and look around as you're walking around this place and picture it as a scene in a movie. And you'll probably see it in a completely different light. And if you do, tell your friend. If you're visiting a friend or if you're with someone else, tell them about it, because maybe it hasn't occurred to them to look at the place from a different perspective as well. And we can take this idea further as well. So it's not just viewing your surroundings like a movie, but viewing your life like a movie, as Movify Your Life, the title would suggest. So it doesn't just apply to places, it also applies to how we see our lives in general. As I said, when you're living inside your own story every day, doing the same thing, it can feel ordinary, routine, uneventful. And I've talked about this before, but imagine for a moment stepping outside your life and watching it like you're a viewer watching a film. If someone else were watching the movie of your life, what might they notice that you've maybe stopped noticing or stopped appreciating? Maybe they would appreciate your surroundings like we've been talking about and see them as this amazing place, whereas you've got used to it and don't really think about it anymore. Maybe they would admire how hard you work or how kind you are, or maybe they'd recognize the courage it took for you to try something new. So that's another exercise you can do. Just put yourself in their shoes. What would you think looking at your life? Because sometimes we're so used to our own lives that we stop recognizing the interesting, meaningful, or like truly beautiful parts of them. And it can help you rediscover those things. And it can also help you realize that your story is probably far more interesting than you think. It only seems not interesting because you're so used to it, if that makes sense. So yeah, when you start seeing the world this way, like take a step back, look at it from a completely new light, something shifts. Your town becomes a film set. Your routines become scenes. Your experiences become moments in a story. And suddenly, your life doesn't feel quite so ordinary. The magic you've been seeking maybe in life, maybe you already have it. You just haven't taken the time recently to reevaluate where you are and what you're doing. And all it takes is a new perspective, the perspective of someone, a tourist, a visitor, an alien, who's seeing it all for the first time. And when you start looking at the world like that and your life like that, you begin to realize something quite powerful. You're not just living in a place, you're living on the set of your own movie. I need to do this. I need to walk around my village and picture it in a movie, or I'd think it'd probably be more like a TV show like Midsummer Murders. So I won't be imagining the murder, but, just walk around and imagine what genre would be perfect here and what might other people see when they visit. And would any of them say, this looks like a set for a movie? And it's a really fun exercise to do as well. So give this exercise a try today and let me know what comes up for you, because I'd love to hear all about it. And I'm always looking for places to visit that seem or feel like they're, right out of a movie. So you can DM me on Instagram at Movify Your Life, and please follow me there too. I've given myself a challenge to post every single day this year, which equals to lots of silly reels for you to enjoy. So please follow me there, or you can email me at action@movifyyourlife.com. Okay, thank you for listening. Please share this episode with anyone who you think would find this useful or interesting. And until next Movify Monday, I will see you on the red carpet.
Thank you so much for listening to the Movify Your Life show. Before you go, don't forget to sign up for the main character memo mailing list at movifyyourlife.com/list for exclusive tips, treats, and behind the scenes magic. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could please subscribe, leave a review, or share this podcast with a friend. Let's spread that Movify message far and wide, because everyone deserves to live an epic life fit for the big screen. I'll see you next week for another Movify Monday. Until then, that's a wrap.